Dragon Age Origins sported a number of DLCs that extended out the playtime and lore of the region of Fereldan, giving a further glimpse into its people, and even another perspective from a what-if scenario. We have looked at all the standalone DLCs bar one, which we will be looking at today, Witch Hunt. Released on September 7, 2010, as the last DLC before Dragon Age Origins went into retirement, making way for its younger brother Dragon Age 2, Witch Hunt sees the Warden, with some new companions, pursuing rumours of a sighting of Morrigan in the Kokari Wilds. Having taken some reprieve from Amgorak, our Orlesian Warden Commander Aim has since settled into a semblance of normalcy within her role as the Lord Commander of Vigil's Keep, from where she oversees the safety of the citizens in the surrounding regions of the city of Amaranthine. One day, whilst listening to her diplomats squabble over yet another petty matter, she noticed amongst some missives on her desk a note that caught her eye. Unfurling the scroll, marked by the sigil of the Grey Wardens of Weishaupt Fortress, her eyes combed over the text, eyebrows lifting slightly in interest. It read, "To Commander Aim, Warden Commander of Amaranthine. This missive comes directly from the High Command at Weishaupt under the seal of absolute secrecy. As you are aware, Commander Agaris, the hero of Fereldan, vanished without a trace shortly after the Archdemon's defeat. For nearly a year, we have searched for our fallen brother in arms. We now have reason to believe his disappearance was not voluntary. Recent intelligence from the south places the apostate witch Morrigan in the Kokari Wilds. High Command strongly suspects this shapeshifter played a hand in the vanishing of Commander Agaris. She held close proximity to him during the Blight, and her motives remain entirely hostile to our order. If she has imprisoned, hexed, or murdered the hero of Fereldan, it is an act of war against the Grey Wardens. You are hereby ordered to hunt down this witch with the full might of your office. Locate the apostate, interrogate her by any means necessary regarding the whereabouts and fate of Commander Agaris, and if she resists, or if you find proof that she has brought harm to the hero, you are authorized to execute her on the spot. To aid you in this quest, we have released Agaris's Mabari Warhound into your care. Bring our brother home, Aim, or bring us the witch's head. In war, victory. In peace, vigilance. In death, sacrifice. Signed, the First Warden of Weishaupt." Having languished in diplomacy in recent months, this new directive piqued her interest immediately. Leaving word for only Captain Garavel, she set off into the wilds of Fereldan, back to near where the story first began for another hero, who she is now tracking the fate of. Witch Hunt is not a big DLC. Like the others before it, besides Awakening, it clocks in at just over 2 hours, but affords you the opportunity to return to Flemeth's Hut, the Circle Tower, part of the Deep Roads, an Elven Ruin, and the Dragonbone Wastes. Because I had placed time between myself and when I'd last played the game, I didn't feel fatigued by this retread, though I feel that someone playing back-to-back may get a little bit sick of the same rehashed environments that we've already been forced to retread multiple times. Our journey takes us first to Flemeth's Hut in the middle of the Kokari Wilds, where we attempt to find some trace of the elusive witch of the Battle of Denerim. Stepping into the hut, we are confronted by an elvish woman bearing elvic runes up on her brow. She threatens us, but after some convincing realises that we aren't enemies and that our goals are somewhat aligned. We learn she is looking for Flemeth, who may know where Morrigan is, as she stole an ancient book of the Dalish clan containing powerful magic spells, which is an heirloom and legacy of Ariane's people. It details a device called an alluvian, though she doesn't know much more than this. She confesses that there may be similar artifacts at the Circle Tower, where the book was originally stolen from, but as she is Dalish, she doesn't believe that she'd have any luck gaining access to study them. Being that we are a ward commander of the Grey Wardens, we may have more success, so decide to team up and head to the Circle of Magi, but not before scouring the humble abode for anything else that may be of interest. Upon arriving at the Circle Tower, one of the Templars immediately takes notice of Ariane's pointed ears, though our presence as Warden Commander quickly smooths over any concern, despite us also being of Elven heritage. Before long, the heavy oak doors of the tower's library swing open before us, granting access to shelves that have guarded centuries of esoteric knowledge. Ancient tomes line the walls from floor to ceiling, their leather bindings cracked with age yet lovingly preserved. Somewhere amongst these volumes, we hoped, lie the answer to the mystery of the Alluvion. Hour by hour, page by page, we combed the vast wealth of knowledge, and as the wick burnt lower, we found ourselves ending every trail concerning the Dalish artifact with nothing of note. It was as though someone had intentionally tried to bury the information so that it couldn't be found. Our increasingly fruitless search is interrupted by an excitable young mage, who seems far more concerned with our treatment of the library than our reason for being there. After a brief lecture on the importance of respecting ancient texts, he casually informs us that Alluvion simply translates to mirror in the old Elven tongue. Though his enthusiasm borders on insufferable, it quickly becomes clear that his knowledge far exceeds our own. Introducing himself as Finn, he offers to escort us to one of the Circle's hidden repositories, where magical artifacts, too dangerous or unusual for public study, are kept within the Circle's care. The repository proves far less welcoming than the dusty library. Twisted by unstable magic, spirits manifest from the Fade to bar our progress, forcing us to carve out a path deeper into the vaults until we uncover an ancient statue whose spirit appears trapped somewhere beyond the veil. After sealing the rifts that had bled into our reality, the spirit finally speaks, directing us toward two forgotten locations steeped in Elven history: an abandoned Tig forgotten within the Deep Roads, and an ancient Elven ruin where more fragments of the Alluvion's history still linger. Captivated by the mystery as much as we are, Finn petitions the Circle to allow him to accompany us, and we find ourselves stuck with yet another awkward but well-meaning human male in the vein of Alistair and Anders. Our first destination lay deep beneath the mountains. Descending once more into the Deep Roads, Iam gave a moment of pause to think of the golem companion that had previously saved her life, though it was quickly pulled out of that reverie by Finn's insistence that Ariane's blood would be required to locate the Light of Alathan, devices that had been transported from a lost elven city to this very Tig. With the essence of the elves at play, lights danced and glimmered, drifting decisively to points of interest that either drew spirits from beyond the veil, or unveiled another piece of an ancient puzzle left behind by a civilization long perished. As we gathered each lantern, Finn's face lit up upon each discovery, his lips stretching across his face, beaming almost as brightly as the artifacts that we were collecting. This was indeed what we were looking for, and would potentially direct us to the location of Morrigan once all lanterns were assembled, though we would need to find another working Alluvion to render use of the items we had discovered. Completing this quest, Iam was happy to once again leave the Deep Roads, and she hoped that she would never have to visit them again. Stepping foot in the Elven ruins was almost the complete opposite feeling. Unlike the oppressive stone corridors beneath the mountains, the ancient ruins felt almost tranquil. Ivy clung to weathered marble, statues stood watch over forgotten courtyards, and every step reminded us that the Dalish remember only fragments of what their people once were. It was here that Ariane's determination became most apparent. What began as a hunt for a stolen heirloom slowly transformed into something much more personal, as she realised that the Alluvion was never simply a magical mirror. It was a doorway, one to an empire whose knowledge had all but vanished from Thetis. Entering the central chamber, we discovered that the breathtaking and beautiful mirror was shattered, along with our hopes of locating Morrigan's whereabouts. We didn't have much time to be disappointed though, as trusty Finn noted that he could use the lights of Alathan and the broken mirror to scry the location of a working one. With no other avenue to take, we trusted in his judgment and defended him against the spectres that his ritual invoked. After the grueling battle, in which Finn became injured, we learned that another Alluvion rested within the Dragonbone Wastes, and Finn purported that the purpose of its relocation was to enhance its power. So it was off to yet another location, whilst the trail kept running cold and we often found ourselves at an impasse. Finally, we found ourselves in the Dragonbone Wastes, an unhospitable land full of the bones of eldritch creatures whose breath had at last left their lungs so that they may wither away. It felt like the edge of the known world, an appropriate setting for the final chapter of the Grey Warden's pursuit. After carving a path through the last of the creatures standing before us, including a Vartaral that had been assumed to be a myth, we finally discovered the Illuvian that Morrigan had spent so long searching for. Standing alone before the mirror, she appeared almost unsurprised that we found her. The confrontation itself is perhaps the greatest strength of Witch Hunt. Rather than building toward another spectacular battle, it weaves into a conversation after our Mabari Warhound instantly recognises her. Morrigan explains just enough of her intentions to satisfy our curiosity, whilst carefully withholding enough that she remains every bit as enigmatic as she was in Origins. The Illuvian offers passage somewhere beyond Thetis, somewhere untouched by the Blight, the Chantry, or the politics that have defined the series thus far. As I'm stood before her, bow at the ready, the words of the First Warden echoed briefly in her mind. Bring us the Witch's head. Yet standing before Morrigan, she struggled to reconcile those orders with the woman before her. There was no malice in her words, no hunger for conquest, only the quiet resolve of someone pursuing answers that few others could even comprehend. Whatever Morrigan had become, had it not been man that had made her this way, she did not look like an enemy. She looked like someone who was chasing answers in much the same way as we had. Perhaps it was respect, perhaps it was exhaustion after months of war and diplomacy, perhaps it was animal instinct, or perhaps it was simply one woman recognizing another who had spent her entire life surviving on her own terms. Without another word, I'm simply watched Morrigan disappear beyond the Illuvian before quietly turning away. Some reports were better left unwritten. Witch Hunt doesn't try to rival Awakening in scope, nor should it. Instead, it quietly closes the book on Origins by bringing us back to the series' most enigmatic companion. Rather than ending with another climactic battle, it ends with uncertainty, and somehow that feels entirely fitting for Morrigan. As a farewell to Fereldan, it's understated, but satisfying. I found Ariane and Finn to be surprisingly enjoyable companions throughout the journey, especially in the ambient conversations that they have as you travel together. Ariane provides emotional investment, seeing every discovery through the eyes of someone desperately trying to reconnect with the people's forgotten past, whilst Finn offers a lighter contrast. His absent-minded enthusiasm borders on irritating at first, but gradually becomes endearing. There's certainly no replacement for Origins' cast, yet for a DLC barely 2 hours long, they left a stronger impression than I had expected. And with that, we have completed all the content of Dragon Age Origins that I had planned to review and cover. It has been quite a while and we have had many adventures, but I am ready to move on to the next title. When next we meet in this series, it will be under the imposing shadows of the chained and weeping sentinel statue of the city of Kirkwall, where we will take on the role of the Hawk and pursue other intriguing events plaguing the world of Thetis. And I'm secretly excited because I've never played Dragon Age Origins 2. By the way, how would you rate Dragon Age Origins and its DLCs? Let me know in the comments. This has been Benoit with a review of Dragon Age Origins, Witch Hunt played on the PC. If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe for more great RPG content. Thanks for taking the time to watch my videos, I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves and bye bye for now.